Greetings, YouTubers, and welcome to the second episode of Exhibeo. I'm Odin Juice Mr. Pace.
And I'm ATB.
Today's episode are about social justice issues. We're going to tackle three social justice issues today. And the first one's going to be the issue concerning the rebel flag. The second issue is going to be on feminism. And the third issue will be on gay marriage. Now, Mr. Burleson,
Mr. Pace.
these are very recent events. Now, concerning the rebel flag, how is this impacting our society?
This has no impact on our society. In my opinion, who cares? It's a flag. They started taking it down because of that murder in the church. I forgot. I don't know what the name was. It was somewhere in North or South Carolina, I think. And they're taking it down because, and don't take me 100% on this. This is just what I think I read. Is that the murderer posted something with the rebel flag, and they think the rebel flag caused him to kill. No, it did not. There's still going to be murders even if you take the rebel flag down.
And that's a good point you bring up there, that people don't need a prior objective to murder.
There's been murders ever since
the dawn of man.
Yeah.
If you go by biblical reference, the first murder happened between the first children of the first people on earth. You know Adam and Eve, right?
Yes.
Oh, and Adam and Eve had a son, Cain and Abel. And Canaan killed Abel because he was jealous. First murder in recorded history according to the biblical reference. Now, my issue with the rebel flag is all these people that are talking about the rebel flag are entirely uneducated as to what the rebel flag means.
A lot of people think the rebel flag symbolizes slavery, and I think I read somewhere that it was not created for slavery. It doesn't mean that.
Well, the rebel flag was created as the banner for the Confederate state because after the abolishment of slavery, that left the South without a heavy taxation method. So they couldn't make much money, and they conceded from the Union so that they can keep their slaves to keep the taxes. And that's what. And so because they conceded from the nation, they needed a new flag to prove that they were a different nation. So that's where the Confederate flag came about.
And one point is that this doesn't pertain to the bringing down the rebel flag. I just want to educate some people. Is that the rebel flag that we all see today is not the original, the actual rebel flag. They had a bunch of different rebel flags. They had one where it was just white, and then the rebel flag that we see today was just a little square up the top, just a white flag with a red with the rebel flag that we see today, just little. And they got rid of that because they didn't want the North to think that they surrender. So I don't know what the original one was, but I just know that this one is not the actual rebel flag.
So the final thing I have to say about this rebel flag is it's an issue that has no merit.
And
because the simple fact of the matter is, long since has slavery been abolished. Since the days of Abraham Lincoln, that was over 200 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And the problem that we have here in our society is that there is a young generation of people that are coming up that are trying to be socially correct and socially accepted. And because of that, they are jumping on any bandwagon they can to try to get themselves a little bit of publicity, and it's causing more harm than it is right.
Yeah, and I just want to bring up one other point about the rebel flag before we move on. If we were close to moving on.
Oh, we are about to move on because
well,
we are on a tight time frame here.
Well, about taking down the rebel flag, if you're taking that down based on the logic and because it was around during slavery, you might want to rethink that, because I think by that logic, you're going to want to take down the American flag too.
Well, I think there's a different logic behind taking down the Confederate flag. I mean, the nation, the United States, is a whole now. So really, the only flag that holds any weight in America at this time is the American flag. So the Confederate flag, for that reason, should be taken down, because you don't need to confuse the other countries with two flags.
Yeah, but the American flag, I mean, of course it looks different than it did back then, but still, the American flag stood during slavery.
The American flag stood during slavery, but it wasn't established on the premises of using slaves for taxes. The American flag was actually established for independence from Britain.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is that if a lot of people are probably wanting to take it down because the royal flag was around during slavery. The American flag was also around during slavery. So at that point, they can also say the American flag symbolizes slavery, although it wasn't really. It was meant
Yeah, but
flying.
they're going to argue you that the Union was fighting on the side of the slaves. So it's going to be a go back to back every time you bring up that point.
My point is, the whole debate against it is stupid. It is just a flag. I mean, I think, isn't there like a Spanish-American flag, like symbolizing the Spanish-American War?
I'm not entirely certain.
Well,
you might be able to find it at the Alamo.
If there is, you may want to take that down. How do you think it makes Hispanics feel? I'm joking.
I was going to make a very nasty joke, but I'm not going to.
Wait till we're done.
You wasted 7 minutes of our runtime talking about the rebel
You
flag.
get me into this, and I can't stop me.
Well, I guess we might just have to make this a 2-part episode. But now we're moving on to the cause and issues of feminism. And I, for one, I dislike feminism down to the core.
I think we can both agree on this. Well, we agreed with the last one, but
now feminism, I don't want to sound harsh, but feminism to me is a cancer to society.
People who do feminism, and I'm not saying all feminists.
No, by no means, not all feminists, because there are actually a lot of intelligent ones out there, like the factual feminists here on YouTube. Professor Christina Hoff Sommers, she is a feminist, and she gives the facts, and these radical feminists are going against her because they don't want to agree with what statistics show.
Yeah, feminists most feminists do not think logically. Most feminists want equal rights. Well, they don't really understand that whenever they say equal rights, that means if the woman and the man go out and the woman still expects for the man to pay for her, why should they? There's equal rights.
According to feminists, chivalry is dead, which would kind of make them want to pay for their own food. But that reminds me, I often say that Dr. Henry Wu from Jurassic World put it best in the terms. He says, you cannot have exaggerated predator features without the corresponding behavioral traits. And if you apply to feminism, you cannot have the double standards. The best of both worlds. You cannot have the double standards of having equal rights to a man without expecting to be able to share the burdens that the man has to bear.
If you expect equal rights, if you want equality, you better expect to be paying for dinner.
I mean, sure, most men are going to try to take the tab anyway.
I mean,
because-
that's just being courteous and nice.
and that's just what any decent man would do.
But I'm just saying, if you want equal rights,
Yeah, you
don't
should.
complain about it whenever the man tells you to pay the tab.
And on another note here, most of the feminists that we come into contact with here on the internet are extremely prejudiced towards men. I mean, take for instance recent video games, Grand Theft Auto. Now, in Grand Theft Auto, one such Anita Sarkeesian's been talking about this game for a while, and so she says that the game encourages you to degrade women to sex objects, which is not true in the slightest, because in Grand Theft Auto there has never been a mission required for you to assault a woman or have sex with a woman.
Yeah.
It's entirely optional to you, and really, what it's showing is that the guy in here is doing illegal acts because prostitution is against the law. And I play Grand Theft Auto, and when I go and do the little code to get the women to get in your car,
Yeah.
my whole intention is to get my health back, and really nothing happens. The car just shakes.
Well,
if you turn the camera around, nothing happens.
Well, you're going beyond that.
You're a specialty of game.
I've only played one Grand Theft Auto game, and that was Vice City.
Well, now you have a game here that pulls up a lot of debate, and that is the Mortal Kombat series. The Mortal Kombat series has a lot of sexy women in it, and feminists do not like this because they say the women are too overly sexualized.
I never heard about that.
And the women in Mortal Kombat look extremely sexy. But you have to realize in the Mortal Kombat universe or multiverse, whatever you want to call it,
digital verse.
The women there, most of the women you see are actually from Adenia, and it's a place of peacefulness, and like take for instance Wonder Woman. I'm going to compare Wonder Woman to Kitana from Mortal Kombat series.
Yeah.
In Wonder Woman's origin story, she explains why she wears the clothes that she wears, because in the Amazon they're all women, and they're not afraid of their sexuality or their bodies, and so she dresses the way she does because it does not hinder her combat abilities. As a matter of fact, the more clothing that she wears, the more hindered she is in her fighting style. So that's the reason why Wonder Woman dresses the way she does. So I'm assuming, based on that might be the same reason why certain Mortal Kombat female characters dress the way they do.
Okay. I do know that when you're fighting, it makes perfect sense that when you're fighting, the more clothes you wear, the more it's going to get your way.
Yeah, exactly. Not to mention that in Mortal Kombat, the women are usually some of the more overpowered characters in the game. I mean, take Sindel for instance. In Mortal Kombat 9, she killed everyone, and caused Nightwolf to kill himself just to kill her. And then you have.
Well, we're running kind of.
I told you we're gonna make a two-part video because of you.
Because of me, what I do.
You spent 7 minutes talking about the rebel flag.
Okay.
So the major issue here with feminism is the simple fact of the matter that it's not contributing to society in a way that it should. As a matter of fact, everything that these third wave feminists, that's what they call them, that these third wave feminists are doing is perpetrating a bad example. I don't know if you've seen this, but there's a video here on YouTube I'll probably link to it somewhere.
You're on the YouTube.
I'll probably link to it somewhere in the description. But it's about these little girls, the potty mouth girls or whatever the hell they call them.
I've seen that.
And all they do is sit there and curse and talk about being beaten.
There's a. I'm not going to mention the people, the name, but they do react channels. They were, whenever they first showed that, I was kind of like.
I kind of got me kind of angry because, when we were coming up in our generation, you cursed, you got slapped in the mouth.
Well, I never cursed. So.
Well, I never cursed, but if we said the word like bastard, my aunts and them, they'd say, go get the bar of soap, and they take the soap and stick it in your mouth.
Bastard?
Yeah.
I say bastard, and it's bastard. I say all New Jersey like.
Yeah, so now they're teaching these children to be unruly, and on the domestic violence dispute there, feminists seem to completely throw out the possibility that women abuse men.
I watched Cena, and I was like, how could their parents let them do something like this?
I can't understand that, but
I never curse. The only time I curse is whenever I'm really mad and it just slips out.
The only time I curse is if I'm in the moment with my friends. I don't curse just to be cursing.
Well, yeah, I curse with my friends, but I don't curse in front of my parents.
I don't curse in front of
I know.
I don't curse in front of people older than I am.
I know some people that curse in front of their parents, and to me, that's kind of like disrespecting them.
It's disrespect to me. It is. Because your parents, you gotta respect them, and if you can't respect them, then there's something wrong with that.
Yes, respect your elders.
Yeah. Take it from us. If you respect your elders, good things will happen to you.
If you disrespect them,
you will die.
You'll get the bar soap.
But as I was saying about the domestic violence issue, most feminists seem to. You can throw this statistic at them left and right, and they completely throw it out the back window, put it on the back burner, and say, "Oh, men can't be oppressed because they are men." And then you tell them the statistics. 60% of all domestic violence is initiated by women. 80% of divorces are initiated by women. I believe that's the right statistic. 90% of those divorces are won by women. Then you have the fact of the matter is that a woman can. Whoopi Goldberg says it wonderful that your woman cannot go and just start wailing on a man and not expect to be hit back. It's just not.
In my view on that is, yes, I know it's not right to hit a woman. I would never hit a woman.
It's not right to hit anyone.
Well, yeah, it's not right to hit anyone. I wouldn't hit anyone, especially a woman. But a woman comes up to me and beats the crap out of me, and almost near death, I'm gonna defend myself. I'm not gonna stand there and take it.
I mean, I tell you this all the time. I view if someone comes to attack me with the intent to harm me, I view that as a challenge. And when I get into my challenge mode, I kind of become a different person.
I mean, most men will take it as like cowardly.
Well, you see, in my practice as in religion, of course, we have the concept of turn the other cheek, which means if you can avoid it, then do everything you can to avoid it. But if you can't, then you have the right to defend yourself.
Yeah, if I can avoid it.
But this is the advice that I have to give to people who are going to defend themselves against women. Before you get to defend yourself, take your little phone out and record it.
Yeah.
I don't care what you have to do. If the phone falls or anything, just record the first couple seconds of it.
If the woman tries to pick a fight with you, just say, "Hold on now, I gotta take the phone out."
Well, you can walk off and try to defuse the situation, but if she continues to come at you, the first thing you need to do is to take your phone out, because if you do not, the burden of proof goes to the woman, and all she has to do is claim anything. She can say, "You tried to rape her. You're in jail for life. Your reputation scarred." She can say, "You started it. You're in jail. You're living together." She can say that you came at her with a frying pan or whatnot.
Pretty much anything.
And she can put you up.
Women can pretty much say anything. You go to jail.
And so that's why I say, if you're going to go to defend yourself against a woman, a man defend themselves against a woman, then you need to have some type of substantial evidence, like a video or audio.
Now, note, we are not against women by any way.
I'm not against women by any way.
We're just making our point.
Just making the point here that something has to be done about this, because a lot of innocent men are being put in jail for life because they had to defend themselves against women. And then, I watched this episode. I don't know what it was called, but these women were sitting in there laughing about a guy that got his penis chopped off by a woman because she was angry at him.
We have to bleep that part out.
Well, penis is a sexual term. I mean,
I know.
It's a scientific term.
We have youngsters watching this.
If they're too young to hear the word penis, it shouldn't be on the internet in the first place.
The intrawebs.
But yeah, so they just sit there and laugh about it. Now, if on what type of TV show do you think it's acceptable for them to sit there and laugh about the mutilation of someone's genitals?
Never.
But now, if it was a show where the men were laughing about women's breasts or something being cut off,
the man would be
his show would get canceled.
The man would get shunned, and everyone would look down at him.
Yeah, his show would get canceled in an instant. So there's a lot of double standards here, and we're about to get ready to leave feminism alone. Any final points on feminism?
My final point is a lot of feminists think illogically. That's my final opinion.
I agree with you. My final point on feminism is that not all feminists are bad, but there's clearly a lot of issues that are going on. And to those of you that want to know more of these statistical facts, I highly advise going to find the factual feminist videos here on YouTube, because she is very proficient in her studies on these types of statistics. Now, let's move on to our final reason today: gay marriage. Now, this is a big one for me.
Oh, we both probably disagree on this.
Well, I think we agree and we disagree, and then we
kind of both, yeah.
And then we agree to disagree.
Yeah. My thoughts on it are, if it doesn't hurt me personally, financially, in any way, I don't care.
Well, I think it will hurt us financially.
How's it going to hurt us financially?
Well, because you have to think of the reason that gay marriage it has to follow the same standard laws as regular marriage, and a lot of regular marriage, when there's some type of spousal disagreement, our taxes have to pay for it.
Well, okay, just say this: if it doesn't hurt me in any shape, form, or fashion, I don't care. A lot of religious people care because they're going with the Bible, but I just don't care. It doesn't concern me. I worry about my own life, not theirs.
Well, me, I'm a very religious person, but my issue with gay marriage is I don't agree with it at all. I'm not against gay people. I believe that gay people have every right to be happy and enjoyment with themselves. But my greatest issue with gay marriage and the principles of being gay is in all of nature. It is unnatural.
It is unnatural. But
I mean,
let's go back in the day, whenever there was white supremacy over blacks. Okay, blacks being free and having equal rights back then that was unnatural.
No, that was entirely natural. Black people sold black people to white people
No,
for slaves.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when slavery was abolished and black people just had.
Black people still had rights, just not in America. You can't.
Yeah.
It's not like America is just the only place where black people live.
Well, I know that.
I mean, the Ottoman Empire in World War II, it was World War I. I think it was World War I. Was one of the most powerful military forces the world had ever seen.
I know black people. Also, there was a black force in I think a war.
Yes,
in World War I or II.
It was the Ottoman Empire, and they were on the side of the Germans. And, they were a force to be reckoned with.
But what I'm saying is, it's like, I don't know what I'm saying. Just adapt.
You can't compare. You can't compare racial segregation to naturality because that's entirely different. That's an entirely different argument.
I know.
What I'm talking about is in nature. If it's not natural, that's in nature, speciation by speciation. If something cannot reproduce, it dies and it goes extinct.
That's why there's adoption.
Gay people adopt. To me, that's just it's the worst thing possible. I mean,
China. I mean, in China. Okay, let's take China. A lot of gay people. I don't know if it's just for China. I'm assuming it's not, but a lot of gay people that adopt from China because there is a limit to how many kids you can have over in China.
Well, obviously, because they're overpopulated. But what I'm trying to get to the point is here: if gay people are adopting children, the children grow up in a confused lifestyle because they don't know who mom is, they don't know who dad is. They have two dads, and then one of them's or both of them are acting like mom, so they don't really know what to do, and that also is going to later scar the child because elementary school children are the worst people in the world. I can tell you that children are the worst people that you want to talk with because they bully and they pick on people, and it's not just gay people because I guarantee you that straight people get bullied a ton more than gay people.
I got picked on a lot in school and in elementary school and high school or middle school, and it quit in high school. Middle school I just ignored it.
In high school, people grow up. Middle school, people are trying to establish themselves as something that they're not supposed to be. But what I'm trying to get to the point here is the children will grow up in an environment that is not stable for them because it is a confused and conflicted environment.
Yes, it is confusing.
And then because of that, and that's all that they know, the children themselves are going to grow up to be most likely going to be gay.
Not all the time.
No, not all the time, but most likely because it's what they're taught.
Okay.
It's what they're taught by example.
But here's how I think of it. And some people will probably say that it's not the same thing. But this kind of sounds like the same thing. Back then, whenever the Nazis were going to Europe, it's not the Nazis. I guess you can say Nazis. And back then, when whites didn't really think that blacks should have the same rights as whites.
It wasn't whites. It was American whites. Other countries had no problem with black people. Just Americans. Just this filthy country of America.
I know that. I know that it was America, but I'm kind of assuming a lot of people would have the knowledge to know that I'm talking about America.
Well, when you say white people, you generalize the entire world.
Okay, well, American whites didn't think it was right for American blacks to have the same rights. We'll put that in place. Say the gay people are blacks.
Well, gay people have always had all the rights. I mean, gay people had the right to be in love with one another.
They had the right, but they didn't have the right to get married.
They had the right to pursue a legal partnership.
Well, in certain countries or certain states.
And a legal partnership is a lot better than a marriage. And I'll tell you why. because you do not have to worry about the financial issues and burdens of divorce. And that brings me to this point. To me, the only good thing to come out of gay marriage issues are two things. The the first one being that the friends of mine and loved ones of mine that are gay have a right to be happy. I agree that they have a right to be happy. Of course, I don't agree with gay marriage, but they have a right to be happy with one another and who they choose. And the second reason is um, it's going to force the courts to uh, be equal and non-biased to men in cases of divorce. Because I guarantee you that a lot of gay people that are running out there on the bandwagons getting married are going to be getting divorced next week because because the partner did something they didn't like, and they're going to get divorced and they have to go through the hassle of all that bullcrap.
Well, to sum my whole opinion up is I don't really care. It's not my life to mess with. I'm going to care about my own, not theirs. You can say whatever you want to in the comments, but whatever you say, you're just wasting your breath because I ain't going to change my opinion.
My final statement on gay marriage is...
Or wasting your words because you're not really breathing.
I didn't interrupt you during your final moments. You shut up and let me finish my final moments.
I just had to spit that out. Okay, go.
Jesus Christ. As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, my final thoughts on gay marriage is it's not something that I want to associate myself with because there's a lot of debate and a lot of hassle about gay marriage. And I personally disagree with the principles of gay marriage. But I agree with the idea that people that are homosexual have a right to be happily wedded. I believe that it would be better for them to have a legal partnership via writing someone in their will, so to speak, because you can amend that as you see fit. And I believe that if the growing population is becoming more socially acceptable to be gay. I mean, back in the day, there was the gay people, but gay people didn't go out there and throw parades to give attention to themselves.
That's one thing I kind of find it's kind of going overboard.
I mean, you don't see straight people throwing parades. Oh, I'm straight. Oh.
Well, that's because straight people always had rights.
Gay people have the right to be in love. No one's going to stop them from being in love.
Yeah,
but you don't see people going out there throwing parades about, oh gosh, I'm so happy to be straight. I'm going to get married because I'm straight. No one does that. Only this new generation of gay people do that. I guarantee the gay people that lived back in the 70s are ashamed of the gay people that are living today.
Okay. I'm not saying that gay people always had their same rights. It's just that the country as a whole, they had rights to get married in certain states, but the country as a whole, they didn't. And
marriage is not a federal issue; it's a state issue, and I think it should remain that way. Just like with the flag, it should remain a state issue. The government can only intervene in so much, and when the government starts to change everything, I mean, what we already have in schools, the government's already taken out the ability for most schools to have public prayer. They've taken out the ability for people to have access to think. Because if you think about it, children learn their moral standards from school, from their religion, because religions teach moral standard. Children go directly into school and they're introduced to bullies, and they don't have enough time or training, depending on how their parents teach them, to get the type of moral coding that they need.
Yeah. Well,
because you have to think about it, morality is not biologically imprinted, and that's another thing that I have to talk about the people that continue to say that gay is that people are born gay.
They're not born. I
It's
don't know.
it's impossible to be born gay because you cannot be born gay if you have a sperm and an egg. It's
That's
impossible.
kind of one thing. I knew you couldn't be born gay if you don't have a sperm and an egg, but I didn't really know how you could become gay because I don't know.
Well, it's a choice. I'll tell you why it's a choice. If you take a look at animals, especially specifically dogs, you can do this to yourself in the mirror too. People have a attraction to themselves, and because of the attraction to themselves, it's easier to cope and to find acceptance in oneself than it is to find it in the opposite sex. Because men have to really hunt for a woman. I didn't have to hunt for my girl, unfortunately. They found me, which probably which probably was unfortunate in the first case, but the second case, we had our arguments, but we work perfectly together now.
With any relationship, you're gonna have arguments. Life is hard.
Well, in my relationship, I had to. It was a one-sided relationship for the first part because I had let her make all the decisions and everything, and then finally, I just had to, there's a point in time where you have to put your foot down, and this is lesson to men. There's a point in time where you have to take the time to put your foot down and set up the natural order of things. Because take an instance here. If you take a selection of elephants, female elephants, and they're all doing their thing,
mm-hmm.
You can even do this with chickens if you want to. Take a cock and put it in the middle of the hills.
Chickens are mean.
Well, birds are mean. But if you take a look at the elephants, and you have all the elephants in there, and they're doing their little thing in there, and when you put the male elephant in there, and he establishes his territory and becomes the alpha male, he asserts himself and gets the respect from the rest of the herd.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to wrap this up.
Oh, I told you we're gonna put this in 2-part video.
Well, anyway, I know,
but we're wrapping it up now.
Probably gonna have to go in 3.
Yeah, probably. But we're wrapping it up now. So what are the final points here on gay marriage?
My final point is I don't care, and you shouldn't either. If you care, then you have the right to care.
Going back with what Ms. Burleson here said, I believe that it is, as I said, I don't believe it's correct morally or even, my beliefs, but I believe that gay people have the right to be happily wedded to one another. But it is up to parents to teach their children what is correct and what is not correct. Not saying that homosexuality is incorrect, just that it's unnatural. But it's also up to homosexual people that are starting to adopt children to teach their children that even though their parents are gay, they don't have to be gay because they have the right to be able to choose which one they want to.
You can probably relate that to an analogy. At first, new things that are brought in this world are unnatural, but you will learn to adapt with it.
Well, in the Bible, there's a biblical scripture. It says that there is nothing new under the days of the sun, which means everything that's happened now has happened in the past.
History does repeat itself. I know that.
It's not that history repeats itself. It's just history is a never-ending cycle. Everything that we've seen now in our present day and age, has happened before.
I mean,
just maybe not on this grand scale, but it's happened before.
There is some things that has happened in this world that, to me, I kind of want to say that seems familiar. It seems like it's happened before.
Because,
it's a word to it. I don't know what it's called. I don't know.
Well, I don't know what word you're thinking of either. I'm not a mind reader.
It's a word that means that it's happened again. I don't remember what it's called. It's happened once before. I won't say phenomenon. That may be right, but I don't know for sure.
A phenomenon is something, kind of unexplainable at the moment. But I can't give you the specific definition of phenomenon. But I think you might be thinking of paradox.
No, I think it starts with an A. I don't know.
An anomaly.
If you don't know the words, you can.
They can't read your mind.
Well, there's a computer. There's a digital connection. It's a word that means it's happened once before.
Why don't you Google it on your phone?
Not now.
If you want to educate them about what this word is.
Well, I'd be taking the video on for 50 minutes.
we're at 40 right now. It's going to take you 10 minutes to find a word.
They probably know what I'm talking about. It means that
I don't know what you're talking about. Half these people don't speak English.
Okay, well. Okay, well.
Okay, all right, that's just.
It's some stuff in history that seems like it's happened before and it's happening again, so that makes me.
Let's go on to question number 6 here, and the solution. And I believe the solution to all of these problems are we have to stop making the government make false absurdities. Like in the case of feminism, they keep throwing that 77 cents per dollar thing out there, which is a proven false statistic. As a matter of fact, in most field occupations, women severely outwage men. They make more money than men do. Men die and work a lot more than women do. Men have a higher suicide rate than women do. Men work more hours than women do. So that's why men, on average, make more money than women do because they. And then did you heard about the birth control thing?
No. I really.
Now we're required to pay.
I don't need birth control, so.
Well, we're required to pay tax on a birth control for women. Even though 33 women go to the doctor, 33% more than men do, excluding pregnancy.
Okay.
And in insurance rates, men have to pay higher insurance rates for cars because we get crashes more often. Yeah.
Well, I'm a man. I haven't gotten any. Well, I've not gotten in one crash.
Well, you see, but so we have to pay higher insurance rates because on average, men crash more than women do. And then when you think about insurance for healthcare, life insurance policies, women live longer than men, so they pay less for life insurance. And now women have to pay less than men for healthcare because now we have to pay for the birth control, despite them going to the doctor more than we do. That's not how insurance policies work.
Okay.
Insurance policies work determined on average and aggregate, and what they're doing is they're making it become the fault of the male species. So I want to say because we're no longer humans. It's men species and the women species.
Yeah, times have changed, people. That probably doesn't relate to anything. I just wanted to say that.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is what it is, and we have made a pretty lengthy video here. I think it's time to wrap it up.
Yes.
So, in conclusion to this video, we have discussed the rebel flag standing. What was our ruling on rebel flag?
The argument's stupid.
The argument's stupid, and let the states take care of it.
Actually, don't even let the state. Oh, okay. Okay, never mind. Continue.
Then we talked about feminism, and the solution to feminism is just, tell the feminists to shut up.
That's all you gotta say. Shut up.
No. Now with gay marriage, we've come to the solution that if it doesn't affect you, don't worry about it. But don't be afraid to teach your children what's right and what's wrong, and also don't be afraid homosexuals to teach your children that they can be more than homosexual. So this has been the second episode of Exhibeo. I'm Mr. Pace.
I'm ATV.
And if you like our video, like, comment, and share. Visit us on our Facebook page, also on our website. If you have any suggestions for videos that we may do in the future, or if you want personal advice from one of us or one of the members of our team, if you ever get one.
Oh, I don't know any more members because it's just us.
Well, I have a couple guys. I got an episode lined up,
Okay.
A martial arts episode. But if you want to make suggestions or ask for advice, visit us on the website or comment down below, and we will get back to you the best way we know how.